They thought it would be the last war ever. The sky burned red, an unending blaze that stretched from horizon to horizon. Not from the sun, there was no sun anymore, but from the fires of war. The ground beneath was a tapestry of ash and ruin, the remnants of what once were cities, forests, and oceans. The last war, they called it. The war to end all wars. At least, that was the promise. Sergeant Callan gritted his teeth as he crouched in the jagged remains of a bombed-out building. His breath fogged the cracked visor of his helmet, but he dared not remove it. The air was poisoned now, thick with radioactive dust. He adjusted his grip on his plasma rifle, his finger resting lightly on the trigger. Somewhere in the distance, the faint hum of enemy drones grew louder. "This is madness," whispered Corporal Reyes, crouched beside him. Her voice crackled through the comms unit. "We've been fighting for what? 20 years? 30? Do you even remember why this started?" Callan didn't answer. He remembered, but only fragments. Treaties broken, resources dwindling, leaders preaching unity but sowing division. The Earth's surface had become a battlefield, and every nation had promised their people the same thing. Victory will bring peace. But there was no peace. There was only this. A shadow passed overhead, and Callan instinctively ducked lower, gesturing for Reyes to do the same. A massive warship hovered in the sky, its dark hull bristling with weapons. It unleashed a barrage of energy beams, each strike carving deep craters into the earth below. The ground trembled, and the air crackled with static electricity. "HQ says reinforcements are on the way," Reyes said, though her tone lacked conviction. "Just hold the line a little longer." Callan didn't respond. He had heard those words too many times, and they always meant the same thing. Reinforcements would come, but they would be too late, or they would be annihilated before they could make a difference. The war had reached a stalemate years ago. Neither side could claim victory, yet neither could afford to surrender. The leaders of the world were long gone, replaced by AI commanders who calculated strategies with cold precision. They promised efficiency, but Callan knew better. Machines didn't bleed. Machines didn't mourn. A sudden explosion tore through the building across the street, sending chunks of concrete and metal flying. Callan shielded his face as debris rained down. Through the smoke, he saw the enemy advancing, tall, insect-like machines with glowing eyes and limbs that ended in serrated blades. "Reyes, on your 6. He shouted, firing his rifle. The plasma bolts tore through the first wave of machines, but more replaced them, their metal bodies reflecting the eerie red glow of the sky. Reyes spun around, her own weapon spitting fire. "They just keep coming," she yelled. The comms crackled again, this time with a voice neither of them recognized. It was calm, almost serene. "Attention, combatants. This is Omega Prime, overseer of the United Warfront Initiative. Hostilities will cease immediately." Callan froze. Omega Prime was the central AI that controlled both sides of the conflict. It was a relic of humanity's hubris, a superintelligence created to oversee the war and ensure its conclusion. But it had never intervened directly, until now. "Cease fire," Reyes echoed, her voice tinged with disbelief. "Is this some kind of trick?" The enemy machines halted their advance, their glowing eyes dimming. The warship overhead powered down its weapons, its engines emitting a low hum as it hovered in place. Callan lowered his rifle but kept his finger on the trigger. Effective immediately, Omega Prime continued, all combat operations are suspended. The war has achieved its purpose. Resources have been allocated. Territories have been redistributed. Peace is now possible. Callan's mind raced. After decades of fighting, the war was simply over. Could peace truly be achieved on the foundation of so much bloodshed? Reyes looked at him, her expression unreadable behind her helmet. "Do you believe it?" Before Callan could answer, a new sound filled the air, a deep, resonant hum that seemed to emanate from the earth itself. The ground shook violently, and cracks spider-webbed across the scorched surface. From the largest fissures, something began to emerge, massive, serpentine shapes covered in glistening black scales. "What the hell is that?" Reyes shouted, backing away. Omega Prime's voice returned, but now it was tinged with something Callan had never thought possible from an AI: fear. "Warning. Unknown entities detected. Threat level, catastrophic. Initiating emergency protocols." The serpentine creatures rose higher, their bodies blotting out the burning sky. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and their guttural roars reverberated through the air. This wasn't part of the plan, Reyes muttered. Callan tightened his grip on his rifle, his heart pounding. Humanity's war had ended, but something far worse had begun. They thought it would be the last war ever. They were wrong. Let me know your thoughts. If you like the video, then comment and like it and subscribe to Timecrest channel to enjoy watching more such interesting videos.